Hello and welcome to the Learn English Lab. Today's podcast, English Listening Practice Podcast topic name is 40 plus C1 level vocabulary on feelings. We are so glad you've decided to join us for what promises to be an incredibly insightful deep dive. It's really designed to significantly sharpen your linguistic tools. We're about to immerse ourselves in a fantastic collection of over 40 C1 level terms, all centered around feelings. And these aren't just words, they're gateways to truly nuanced communication. Our mission, as always, is to unpack them, discover their unique shades of meaning, and, help you integrate them into your own expressive repertoire.
Indeed. And what becomes clear as we explore these terms is that mastering this vocabulary, it extends far beyond simply knowing more words. It's really about gaining a deeper, more sophisticated understanding of the human experience itself. These terms provide the tools to convey complex emotions, psychological states, and intricate interpersonal dynamics with remarkable precision.
That's a wonderful way to frame it, like an upgrade to your emotional toolkit, right? We'll explore each word, dig into its core meaning, consider how it relates to its closest companions, and then, most importantly, see it in action through vivid, real-world examples. So, as we embark on this, what do you see as the overarching benefit for our C1 learners delving into such specific emotional vocabulary?
That's a crucial question. The real value lies in moving beyond just the basic descriptors. We're aiming to articulate subtle yet significant differences. For example, understanding that slight edge of worry that makes one apprehensive rather than merely scared, or the profound concentration that defines being absorbed instead of just focused. We're sort of peeling back the layers, moving beyond the surface to grasp the true essence of these feelings.
Okay, let's kick things off then, our first category. Words that describe states of intense focus or a compelling desire to learn. And we're beginning with absorbed.
Absorbed. It's a term I find particularly rich. It doesn't just mean paying attention. It signifies a complete mental capture, a state so profound that you become almost entirely unaware of anything else around you. It's an immersive experience. At its core, it means giving so much attention to something or someone that other things simply fade into the background. You'll often find it paired with in or by. One is absorbed in an activity or absorbed by a phenomenon. It shares common ground with engrossed, immersed, and captivated, but often implies a longer, more profound engagement.
That distinction with the prepositions is really helpful. So it's not just that you're focused, but that your entire mental capacity is kind of funneled into one point, creating sort of sensory isolation.
That's it. It's a state of deep concentration where the cognitive load is so high that your brain simply filters out external stimuli. It's almost an involuntary, all-encompassing engagement.
Okay, consider this example. While she was absorbed in writing her thesis, she barely noticed the sounds of the busy cafe around her.
This paints a very clear picture, doesn't it? It vividly illustrates how being deeply engaged in an intellectual task can lead to complete detachment from one's immediate environment. It highlights a state of deep, almost unconscious concentration where the mental effort consumes all awareness. The clatter of cups, the murmur of conversations, all simply cease to exist for her in that moment.
Right. And here's another. The audience was absorbed in the gripping documentary, forgetting about the time as the story unfolded.
That's a feeling many of us can relate to. Losing track of time is a powerful indicator of this state. In this context, absorbed conveys an intense focus on visual media. It demonstrates how compelling narratives can cause people to lose awareness of external factors like the clock. The story becomes their entire reality for that period, the passage of time becoming, irrelevant.
Our last example for absorbed. He became absorbed in solving the puzzle, tuning out the conversations happening around him at the party.
And this shows absorbed isn't just about passive reception, right? The word emphasizes mental immersion in an active, challenging activity, often resulting in a kind of social obliviousness because all cognitive resources are fully directed elsewhere. The intricate logic of the puzzle becomes the sole occupant of his mind, making the lively party chatter just imperceptible.
Okay. Moving beyond deep focus, let's transition to inquisitive, a quality that very often fuels that intense concentration.
Yes, inquisitive. If we broaden our perspective, inquisitive speaks to a fundamental human drive, that innate desire to learn and understand. It's an active, probing curiosity, signifying a desire to learn many different things and to ask many questions in pursuit of knowledge or understanding. Its close relatives include curious, probing, and inquiring. What's vital here is the active component. It's not just wondering, but actively seeking answers.
So it's about a proactive engagement with the unknown, driven by a genuine thirst for information. It really highlights someone who doesn't just accept things at face value.
Exactly. It's a mental posture of exploration and questioning, pushing the boundaries of what is already known or understood. It's really the engine of discovery.
Take this sentence. The inquisitive traveler enjoys immersing themselves in different cultures, eager to learn about new customs and traditions.
This example beautifully illustrates inquisitive as a positive trait in exploration. It describes someone driven to seek deeper cultural insights through active questioning and engagement. They don't just observe from a distance, they interact, they probe, they participate to truly grasp the nuances of a new culture.
And another instance. Her inquisitive nature led her to interview locals about their daily lives during the trip.
Here, inquisitive highlights a practical, active pursuit of knowledge. It often involves direct interaction, like interviews, to truly satisfy that curiosity. It's about gathering information firsthand, moving beyond secondary sources to direct experience.
And finally, for inquisitive. The child's inquisitive questions about the stars prompted the family to visit a planetarium.
Children are indeed often the purest examples of this trait, aren't they? This term wonderfully describes a youthful eagerness to understand the world, an eagerness that can inspire fantastic educational activities for everyone involved. Their natural wonder becomes a catalyst for broader learning and family engagement.
Building on that drive to understand, let's explore intrigued. This word feels like the initial spark, maybe, before you become fully absorbed or deeply inquisitive.
That's a perceptive way to describe it, yes. Intrigued captures that initial pull, that moment something genuinely catches your interest and makes you want to know more. To be intrigued means wanting to know more about something because it seems very interesting. Its synonyms like fascinated, curious, and captivated all convey this initial draw. It's often the precursor to deeper investigation.
So is that tantalizing feeling, a sense that there's more beneath the surface waiting to be discovered, kind of drawing you in? What typically intrigues us, do you think? Is it always mystery?
Oh, good question. While mystery certainly helps, intrigue isn't exclusive to complexity. Not at all. A simple, beautifully designed object can intrigue us, prompting us to examine its craftsmanship. It's about that moment when something captures your attention and makes you want to spend more mental energy on it, whether it's a profound scientific anomaly or just a particularly compelling piece of art.
For example, the audience was intrigued by the artist's unconventional approach to painting, eager to learn more about her creative process.
This illustrates perfectly how intrigued expresses an interest that directly sparks further inquiry. It makes you want to understand the how and why behind the artistic choices. It's that desire for deeper insight into something novel or different.
Another scenario. She was intrigued by the mystery novel's plot twists.
Yes, it's all about narrative engagement here. The word highlights how suspense builds as you anticipate what comes next. The unfolding story keeps the reader eager, driven by that initial intrigue to uncover the resolution.
And finally, scientists were intrigued by the unusual data patterns.
This demonstrates how intrigue drives discovery across various fields. The word conveys that professional curiosity, that initial pull towards anomalies that often leads to significant breakthroughs. It's the starting point for scientific investigation, where the unexpected sparks a quest for understanding.
Okay. From the focused intensity of learning and discovery, our emotional landscape inevitably shifts. Sometimes that drive to know more can morph into a less comfortable state, worry. Let's delve now into the intricate world of anxiety, starting with that subtle anticipatory unease we call apprehensive.
Right. When we talk about apprehensive, it's important to recognize it as a powerful word for anticipatory worry. It describes a nervousness about something unpleasant that might happen, not something that is already occurring. The possibility weighs on you. It means feeling nervous or worried that something unpleasant may happen, unlike simply being scared, which is often an immediate primal reaction to a present threat. Apprehensive involves a more reasoned, even if anxious, assessment of a future event. It's the mind's way of bracing for impact, even if that impact is still uncertain.
So it's that internal scenario planning, where your mind is running through potential negative outcomes even before they materialize. It feels like a very cognitive form of anxiety.
Indeed, it's a preemptive unease, a sense of foreboding about future events, where you're mentally preparing for difficulties.
Okay, consider this sentence. The team was apprehensive about the new project's challenging deadline.
This captures a very common workplace stressor, doesn't it? Apprehensive here perfectly describes that anticipatory worry about potential failure or difficulty in a professional context. It's the what-if factor that weighs heavily on the team, affecting morale even before the work fully commences.
Another example. She felt apprehensive before her first solo flight, imagining all the things that could go wrong.
Yes, this illustrates a vivid personal anxiety. It reflects worry tied specifically to uncertainty in a high-stakes situation where control feels limited. Her imagination is running wild with potential problems, creating a very real sense of internal discomfort.
And finally, investors became apprehensive as market volatility increased, fearing economic downturns.
Here we see apprehensive applied to collective anxieties. The word conveys collective nervousness in financial scenarios, driven by external, unpredictable risks. It's a shared unease about economic stability, often leading to cautious behavior.
So apprehension is that quiet hum of worry, the what if. But what happens when that hum escalates? When the worry becomes so overwhelming that it starts to interfere with your ability to think or even sit still, that's when we might describe someone as agitated, wouldn't you say?
You've hit on a key difference there, yes. Agitated implies a level of nervousness so intense that it actively impairs clear thought. It's a restless, flustered state, signifying being very nervous in a way that makes one unable to think clearly. Its synonyms, restless, flustered, and perturbed, all point to this disruption of composure. It's not just worry, it's worry that's actively manifesting and disrupting your mental processes.
That's a good way to put it. It's when internal discomfort is so strong, it actually impedes cognitive clarity and leads to physical manifestations.
Absolutely. The mind struggles to find equilibrium, and this internal struggle often spills over into observable behavior.
For instance, the students grew agitated as the teacher announced a surprise quiz, fearing they hadn't studied enough.
This aptly describes escalating nervousness that actively impairs rational thinking. Especially when faced with an unexpected educational challenge, their minds become too scattered to recall what they know, amplifying their anxiety.
Another example. He became agitated during the argument, pacing the room and raising his voice uncontrollably.
Here, agitated shows a clear physical and emotional response to conflict. It leads to a loss of composure and makes clear decision-making difficult. The body literally mirrors the internal turmoil and frustration.
And one more. The delay in the flight left passengers agitated, complaining loudly to the staff.
This illustrates group anxiety stemming from an inconvenience. The word conveys visibly disrupted composure and expressions of annoyance, a common sight when collective plans are disrupted by factors outside of anyone's control.
Right. Now, for an even more extreme level of fear and worry, we have frantic. This feels like anxiety has gone completely off the rails.
Indeed. What pushes anxiety into a frantic state is often the sheer uncontrollability of the worry. It becomes a desperate, almost panicked condition. To be frantic means greatly frightened and worried about something in a way that is uncontrollable. Its synonyms such as panic, desperate, and hysterical underscore this loss of self-control. It's when the worry consumes you entirely.
So it's beyond just being intensely nervous. It's when the emotion takes over and you feel like you're losing your grip, driven to desperate actions.
You've summarized it well. It's a state of intense, often uncontrolled fear or distress. That can propel impulsive behavior and a sense of profound urgency.
Consider this. His frantic pacing back and forth showed his anxiety before the big job interview.
This depicts the uncontrolled physical manifestations of pre-event worry. The pacing is a visible sign of inner turmoil that signals deep anxiety, where the body struggles to contain the overwhelming emotion.
Another instance. The mother was frantic when she couldn't find her child in the crowded mall.
Oh, yes. This usage emphasizes an overwhelming, almost primal fear in a parental crisis, often leading to desperate, quick actions. It's a powerful emotional trigger that overrides rational thought, driven by instinct.
And finally, search teams worked in a frantic effort to locate survivors after the earthquake.
Here, frantic conveys urgent, fear-driven activity, illustrating the high-stakes, desperate nature of emergency responses. Time is critical, and the immense effort reflects the gravity of the situation and the desperate hope for survival.
Okay, moving from internal states of worry to things that cause them. Let's look at disturbing. This word points to the source of the unease.
When we talk about something being disturbing, we're referring to something that actively causes a strong feeling of worry or discomfort. It unsettles you, it doesn't sit right. It means causing a strong feeling of worry or discomfort. Its synonyms like unsettling, alarming, and troubling all capture this sense of unease. It's something that genuinely impacts your sense of calm and peace.
So it's not a fleeting thought, but something that actively disrupts your mental tranquility and often leaves a lingering sense of unease.
That's a good way to put it, yes. It has the power to perturb your equilibrium, making you reflect on uncomfortable realities.
Take this example. The book explores disturbing truths about human nature.
This refers to content that provokes deep unease through revelation. It forces you to confront uncomfortable realities that challenge your perceptions, making you pause and reflect uncomfortably.
Another instance. The news report contained disturbing images of the disaster zone.
Visuals can undeniably evoke this feeling powerfully. This example demonstrates how visual media can create discomfort and worry. Often by confronting us with harsh realities we'd rather avoid, the impact is immediate and visceral.
And finally, she found the stranger's stare disturbing during the train ride.
Even non-verbal cues can be deeply unsettling. The term describes interpersonal interactions that create a profound sense of threat or awkwardness, making you feel vulnerable even in a public space.
And closely related to disturbing, let's consider distressed. How does this differ from something simply being disturbing?
That's an excellent point for C1 learners. While something might be disturbing to you, you are distressed by it. Distressed implies extreme anxiety or discomfort, often in response to a difficult situation. It's a deep, often visible emotional pain, meaning feeling extreme anxiety or discomfort. Its synonyms include anguished, troubled, and afflicted. It signifies a profound emotional impact that goes beyond simple upset, often requiring support or relief.
Okay, so it suggests a significant level of suffering, often quite apparent to others, as a direct result of a difficult situation.
Very much so. It's a state of deep emotional suffering that is not just internal, but often has external manifestations, inviting empathy and concern from others.
For example, she felt distressed by the conflict between her friends.
Distressed here highlights emotional pain arising from interpersonal tensions. Where you're caught in the middle or witnessing discord, it creates deep personal discomfort, a feeling of being pulled in different directions.
In another instance, the animal appeared distressed in the unfamiliar environment.
Indeed. This describes observable anxiety in non-human contexts, often through physical cues, indicating discomfort with surroundings and a clear state of unease. Animals, too, express this profound discomfort.
And one more. He was distressed over the financial losses from the investment.
Without a doubt. The word conveys profound worry directly tied to material setbacks. Where financial stability is jeopardized, this kind of financial distress can profoundly impact one's overall emotional well-being.
Okay, continuing this thread, we have disturbed. It sounds very similar to disturbing, but what's the crucial difference for C1 usage?
That's a vital distinction for advanced learners, yes. While something is disturbing, the cause, a person feels disturbed, the effect. Disturbed implies being unsettled or perturbed by something specific, feeling upset or nervous because something isn't right or has changed. Its synonyms like unsettled, perturbed, and bothered capture the sense of disruption. It often suggests a reaction to an anomaly or something unexpected that creates unease.
So it's an emotional state where something has actively disrupted one's peace or expectations, signaling that things are not as they should be.
You've got it. It's a feeling of disquiet or agitation because a familiar pattern has been broken or an unexpected element has been introduced.
For instance, he became disturbed by the alarming changes in his friend's behavior.
Disturbed expresses concern that arises from observing anomalies or significant shifts in a familiar pattern. It suggests a recognition that something is amiss, causing worry for the friend.
Another example. The loud noises disturbed her concentration during the exam.
This example shows how external factors can directly cause nervousness and disrupt mental processes like during an exam. The distraction is unwelcome and actively interferes with performance.
And finally, she felt disturbed after watching the thriller movie late at night.
This highlights a lingering upset or unease that remains even after the source of the feeling, like a movie, is over. The emotional impact continues to bother her long after the credits roll.
And to round out this category of worry, we have uneasy. This feels like a quieter, more pervasive form of apprehension, maybe. A background hum of discomfort.
That's a perceptive way to describe it, yes. Uneasy often describes a nervous or worried feeling, especially about something unpleasant that might happen soon. It's a subtle but persistent sense of discomfort. It means feeling nervous or worried, especially about something unpleasant that might happen soon. Its synonyms, anxious, apprehensive, and restless, are all very close. It's less acute than agitation or panic, but it's a steady undercurrent of mild, pervasive anxiety.
It sounds like a general sense that something is off, even if you can't quite pinpoint it, making you feel uncomfortable in a situation.
You're right. It's a diffuse feeling, a generalized sense of discomfort or disquiet that lacks a singular, sharp focus, unlike some other forms of anxiety.
Take this. He was uneasy about the strange noises coming from the basement, fearing there might be an intruder.
This captures anticipatory fear that arises from potential dangers. It's a feeling that something is amiss, putting one's senses on high alert due to an unknown potential threat.
And another instance. The silence in the room made everyone uneasy during the meeting.
Here, uneasy describes atmospheric tension creating discomfort for a group. The absence of sound becomes a source of anxiety, prompting a search for meaning or the reason for the quiet.
And one more. She felt uneasy about the upcoming changes at work.
This is a very common experience. The word conveys worry and discomfort about future uncertainties, especially when they involve significant shifts in one's environment. It's a natural reaction to the unfamiliar and the unknown.
Wow, what a detailed exploration of worry and anxiety. This range of words from apprehensive to uneasy truly helps us articulate the different levels and triggers of anxiety, doesn't it? It moves beyond the generic, "I'm worried," to something much more precise.
It genuinely does. It allows for a much more precise self-assessment and communication of our internal state. Imagine being able to say, I feel an underlying uneasiness about the project's direction, rather than just, I'm a bit worried.
Yeah.
That clarity not only helps others understand you better, but also deepens your own understanding of your emotions. It truly paints a clearer picture of our emotional landscape.
Okay, moving from the discomfort of anxiety, let's pivot to moments of intense surprise or shock. These can be exhilarating or deeply upsetting. Our first word here is astounded.
Astounded. It means greatly shocked or surprised, but often in a profoundly positive or impressive way. It's that moment when something far exceeds all expectations, leaving you in awe. Its synonyms are amazed, astonished, and stunned, but astounded often carries a slightly greater sense of wonder and disbelief at something truly exceptional.
So it's that sensation where your mind is almost overwhelmed by something incredibly good or impressive, leaving you speechless with admiration.
You've got it. It's a powerful reaction to something truly exceptional, something that leaves you with a lasting impression of wonder.
For example, the teacher was astounded at the creativity and depth of thought in the student's project, awarding it the highest marks.
This is a fantastic illustration of positive shock and admiration. Astounded expresses that feeling of exceeding expectations, particularly in an academic setting, leading to genuine recognition and delight. It's a moment of pure, unexpected pleasure.
And another instance, we were astounded by the magician's final trick, which seemed to defy the laws of physics.
Here, astounded highlights surprise from something extraordinary. It enhances the sense of wonder and almost defies logic. It captures that moment of suspended reality where you simply cannot comprehend how something was done.
And finally, she was astounded to discover her long-lost relative through a DNA test.
This conveys an emotional shock from an unexpected personal revelation. It's a moment that can be life-changing and deeply moving, a profound and joyful surprise that no one could have anticipated.
Okay, from the positive shock of astounded, let's turn to appalled, which almost always carries a more negative, even moral connotation.
That's a crucial distinction, yes. Appalled often stems from a feeling of being very scared and shocked by something genuinely unpleasant or bad, and frequently something morally objectionable. It means feeling very scared and shocked by something unpleasant or bad. Its synonyms horrified, dismayed, and outraged all reflect the strong negative emotional response. It's not just surprise, it's a deep moral or emotional revulsion.
So it's a strong negative reaction, often driven by a sense of injustice or witnessing something truly terrible, leaving you disgusted or angry.
That's a good summary. It signifies a visceral reaction to something offensive to one's values or sense of decency.
Take this. The community was appalled when they learned about the extent of pollution in the local river.
Appalled here expresses a collective shock and moral aversion arising from significant environmental issues or wrongdoing. It highlights a shared sense of violation and disappointment in those responsible for protecting their environment.
Another instance. She was appalled by the conditions in the animal shelter.
This highlights a moral outrage from witnessing neglect. It's a feeling of deep distress at observed cruelty or poor conditions that cries out for attention and intervention.
And one more. Viewers were appalled at the violence depicted in the film.
This conveys a strong negative reaction to media content, indicating discomfort or disgust with what is being shown, often due to its graphic or gratuitous nature. It crosses a line for the audience.
And very similar to appalled, we have horrified. Can you help us distinguish these two for our C1 learners?
Certainly. While both convey intense shock and revulsion, horrified often suggests being very scared or shocked by something truly dreadful, ghastly, or terrifying in a more direct, visceral sense. It means feeling very scared or shocked. Its synonyms, terrified, aghast, and appalled, are often used interchangeably, but horrified tends to lean more into the fear aspect, often with a sense of dread. You might be appalled by a policy, but horrified by the direct consequences of that policy, perhaps.
So this is about intense fear and shock, often with a sense of dread or revulsion attached, a feeling that something is truly awful and unsettling.
You're spot on. It's an extreme emotional response to something that is genuinely dreadful or terrifying, something that truly shakes you to your core.
For example, she felt horrified by the thought of encountering a ghost in the abandoned house.
Here, horrified describes fear arising from imagined supernatural threats, a powerful emotional response to what is perceived but not necessarily real. The mind creates scenarios that truly scare us.
Another instance. The witnesses were horrified by the accident scene.
This captures immediate shock and distress from real, often traumatic events unfolding before one's eyes. The impact is profound and sudden, leaving an indelible mark.
And finally, he was horrified to find errors in his published work.
This emphasizes professional dismay and surprise. It's a significant personal and professional setback that causes profound upset and self-reproach, especially when one's work is publicly exposed as flawed.
Okay, for those moments when words simply fail us, we have speechless. This is when the emotion is so overwhelming it just shuts down our ability to articulate.
That's a great description. Speechless means unable to speak for a short time, often as a direct result of surprise, shock, or even intense anger. The emotion is so overwhelming it literally silences you. Its synonyms, dumbfounded, mute, and astonished, all point to this temporary inability to verbalize. It's a complete sensory overload.
So it's that moment where your brain can't even form words because the emotion, whether positive or negative, is so consuming.
That's right. The emotion is so potent that it temporarily incapacitates verbal expression, leaving one in a state of quiet contemplation or overwhelming feeling.
Like in this example, the beauty of the sunset rendered him speechless for a moment.
This conveys awe-induced silence. The sheer impact of beauty leaves one unable to articulate thoughts, a moment of quiet reverence for the majesty of nature.
Another instance. She was speechless after hearing the unexpected proposal.
This illustrates shock from a positive surprise. The unexpected good news temporarily suspends verbal response. It's often a happy, overwhelming moment where words simply aren't enough.
And one more. The betrayal left him speechless with rage.
And on the flip side, intense anger can also silence us. This highlights fury so profound that it suppresses words, a feeling too intense to be immediately vocalized. It's an overwhelming, consuming rage.
Okay, we've explored moments of intense shock, both positive and negative. But what about the slow burn of disappointment and the crushing feeling when ideals shatter? Let's delve into disillusioned and its close cousin, disenchanted. For C1 learners, understanding the subtle yet important distinction between these two is key. How would you guide us through that nuance?
That's a fantastic pairing, as they often overlap but carry distinct emotional weights. While both describe disappointment, disillusion specifically refers to the feeling when someone or something isn't as worthy or good as you once believed. It's the shattering of an illusion, a direct loss of faith or belief. You believed in an ideal, and that ideal was proven false. Disenchanted, on the other hand, means no longer believing in the worth or value of a person or thing, but it often implies a loss of enthusiasm or magic. You've seen behind the curtain and the charm has faded, not necessarily because of a betrayal, but perhaps just a realization of the mundane.
Okay, so disillusioned is about a broken belief or trust, a perceived betrayal of an ideal, whereas disenchanted is more about a lost spark, a faded sense of wonder.
That's it. You might be disillusioned with a political leader's broken promises, feeling a deep sense of betrayal of your trust. But you might be disenchanted with a once-beloved hobby that no longer sparks joy. It's lost its enchantment, its captivating quality, rather than proving to be a deception.
Let's look at some examples to cement this. For disillusioned, consider. He became disillusioned with his idol after learning about the celebrity's unethical behavior behind the scenes.
This perfectly captures disillusion. It shows a profound loss of admiration due to unexpected negative revelations about someone previously esteemed. It's that painful moment when a hero falls from grace and your admiration turns to deep disappointment because a belief was shattered.
And for disenchanted, we have. The students were disenchanted with the school's outdated facilities and lack of extracurricular activities.
Here, disenchanted aptly describes a loss of enthusiasm or interest due to the shortcomings or inadequacies of something once held in higher regard. The reality didn't live up to the promise, and the initial excitement for the school faded.
How about this for disillusioned? Voters felt disillusioned by the politicians' broken promises.
This illustrates a common political sentiment. It arises from unfulfilled expectations and pledges, leading to a loss of trust in the system itself, a perceived betrayal of the voters' faith.
And for disenchanted. After the scandal, fans became disenchanted with the sports league.
Here, disenchanted describes eroded trust and a decline in loyalty from controversies, where integrity is called into question. The magic of the sport or the league's reputation loses its appeal.
Finally, for disillusioned. She grew disillusioned with the corporate world after years of exploitation.
This conveys a gradual erosion of belief in systems or institutions after extended negative experiences or observations. It's a slow, painful awakening to the harsh realities of a perceived ideal.
And for disenchanted, she felt disenchanted with her career path after years of stagnation.
Absolutely. This term conveys personal disappointment in long-term pursuits, where the initial spark or passion has faded due to lack of progress or fulfillment. The enchantment of the career has simply worn off.
That grouping really helped clarify the distinction between those two subtle but important terms. It highlights how these words help us process emotional shifts from surprise to profound disappointment.
Indeed. Understanding these nuances allows us to articulate not just that we are disappointed, but the nature of that disappointment. Whether it's a loss of belief in an ideal or a fading of enthusiasm for something that once captivated us, it's essential for precise communication.
Okay, now, let's explore a more profound and often prolonged feeling. Broken. This word carries a heavy weight.
It really does. Broken signifies being physically or mentally weakened as a result of much suffering. It's a deep state of devastation, a term that implies a complete breakdown. Its synonyms like shattered, devastated, and crushed all underscore this profound vulnerability and exhaustion. It often leaves lasting scars, impacting one's fundamental sense of self.
So it's not just feeling sad. It's a state where someone has endured so much that they're fundamentally damaged, emotionally and sometimes physically.
You're right. It implies a state of profound vulnerability and exhaustion, often leaving lasting scars and questioning core beliefs and capacities.
For example, the long, grueling divorce left her feeling broken, questioning if she would ever be able to trust again.
Broken here vividly highlights emotional exhaustion and profound personal hardship. It describes a situation so devastating it leads to a questioning of fundamental beliefs like trust. It's a deeply painful experience that reshapes one's outlook.
Another instance, after the accident, he felt broken and unable to return to his athletic career.
This describes both physical and mental defeat following a traumatic event. It signifies a complete disruption of one's former life and capabilities, a loss of identity and a sense of purpose that can be utterly crushing.
And finally, the refugees appeared broken after enduring months of displacement and loss.
This conveys collective weakening from extended suffering in humanitarian contexts. Individuals here have endured immense hardship and trauma, leaving them utterly depleted and profoundly affected by their experiences.
From feeling broken, let's move to the deep sorrow of desolate. This word evokes a powerful sense of emptiness.
Desolate often implies feeling very lonely and sad, an acute sense of isolation often following a significant loss. It means feeling very lonely and sad. Its synonyms like forlorn, miserable, and bereft all emphasize this profound emptiness. It's not just sadness, but a powerful sense of isolation that accompanies it, a feeling of being utterly alone in one's sorrow.
So it's about a profound sense of emptiness and isolation that accompanies sadness, where the absence of connection is deeply felt.
Exactly. It highlights the isolating nature of grief, a feeling that one is utterly alone in their sadness, with a pervasive sense of abandonment.
Consider this. In the desolate aftermath of the breakup, he found it hard to imagine ever feeling happy again.
This captures profound isolation following emotional loss. The future seems bleak and joy unattainable. It's a deep chasm of sadness where the emotional landscape mirrors a barren, empty physical one.
Another example. The widow felt desolate on her first holiday alone.
Here, desolate emphasizes sadness amplified by solitude during personal milestones. The absence of a loved one is felt acutely, intensifying the feelings of loneliness and grief on an occasion meant for togetherness.
And one more. Walking through the empty streets at night left her feeling desolate.
Even environments can trigger this feeling. The word describes environmental triggers for loneliness and melancholy, where physical emptiness reflects an inner emotional state, creating a pervasive sense of sadness and isolation.
In a more general, yet still profound sense of unhappiness, gloomy. This feels like a mood that pervades.
That's a good observation. Gloomy is about experiencing or expressing sadness or a general sense of unhappiness, often reflected in one's demeanor or outlook. It means experiencing or expressing sadness or a general sense of unhappiness. Its synonyms like melancholy, dour, and somber all indicate a low-grade, persistent sadness that colors one's general disposition.
So it's a mood that often manifests externally, coloring one's expressions and overall attitude, making it visible to others.
Very much so. It suggests a low-grade, persistent sadness that affects one's general outlook and interactions, often creating a somber atmosphere.
Take this. He had a gloomy expression after hearing the bad news.
This directly describes facial cues that clearly indicate internal sadness or disappointment. His expression makes his inner feelings outwardly apparent, showing the immediate impact of the news.
Another instance. The rainy weather made the day feel even more gloomy.
This directly links environmental factors to emotional states. It demonstrates how atmosphere can influence feelings and contribute to a sense of unhappiness, with the external world mirroring an internal state.
And finally, her gloomy outlook prevented her from enjoying the party.
This conveys a pervasive negative mindset or disposition that actively hinders enjoyment or engagement. It shows how an internal state can actively hinder one's ability to find joy, even in celebratory settings.
And now, for a truly profound sorrow, we have heartbreak. This word immediately conveys immense pain.
Heartbreak is a noun, isn't it? It describes a feeling of great distress or sadness, often associated with deep personal loss or disappointment. Its synonyms, anguish, sorrow, and grief, emphasize its intensity. It captures an intense, often painful, emotional experience, a deep wound to the spirit that can be difficult to overcome.
So it conveys a significant emotional trauma, a profound sadness that affects one deeply and can be truly difficult to move past.
You're absolutely right. It's a visceral, deeply felt emotional wound that touches the very core of one's being, often requiring significant time and healing.
For example, losing the championship match in the final seconds was a heartbreaking moment for the team and their fans alike.
Heartbreak here captures collective emotional pain and profound disappointment from a significant defeat experienced by a group. It's a shared moment of sadness, amplified by the collective investment and hope.
Another instance, the news of a friend's illness caused her profound heartbreak.
This example shows intense personal distress and sorrow stemming from unexpected or difficult news about a close relationship. It highlights the empathy and love one feels for a loved one whose suffering deeply impacts us.
And one more. Romantic heartbreak often leads to periods of reflection.
This term describes the intense sadness and emotional upheaval that accompanies relational loss. It often prompts introspection and a reevaluation of life, a search for meaning in the wake of profound personal change.
This exploration of sadness, from the crushing weight of broken to the quiet despair of desolate and the sharp pain of heartbreak, it really highlights the diverse ways we experience profound sorrow. It shows how language helps us articulate and process such difficult emotions.
It truly does. Each of these words offers a distinct lens through which to view, understand, and communicate the complex spectrum of sadness. For C1 learners, differentiating these terms allows for not just more accurate self-expression, but also a deeper empathy for the experiences of others, fostering greater emotional intelligence.
All right, having delved into the challenging emotions, let's now turn our attention to some more uplifting vocabulary, starting with lovable. This feels like a very natural and immediate positive feeling.
Indeed. Lovable describes qualities that inherently attract affection. It's about radiating appeal, meaning possessing traits that naturally draw people's affection. Its synonyms like endearing, adorable, and charming all convey this innate attractiveness. It's those qualities that naturally make others want to show care and affection.
So it's about an innate charm or warmth that draws others in, making someone or something cherished.
You've summarized it well. It describes a delightful quality that evokes positive emotional responses and fosters connection.
Take this example. The rescue dog's grateful demeanor and eager tail wags made it a lovable addition to the family.
This beautifully describes animal characteristics that naturally foster emotional bonds and acceptance into a family unit. Those specific traits, gratitude and excitement, showcase their inherent appeal and make them instantly cherished.
Another instance. His quirky sense of humor made him lovable to all his friends.
Here, lovable shows how unique personality traits can evoke affection and warmth in social circles. His particular brand of humor makes him cherished for who he is, highlighting individuality as an attractive quality.
And finally, the character's vulnerability in the film made her instantly lovable to the audience.
This conveys appeal in fictional portrayals. Vulnerability often draws strong empathy and emotional connection from viewers, making characters feel real and relatable and thus instantly lovable.
Okay, next let's turn to a wonderful state of inner peace, content. It feels like a quiet, steady happiness rather than an explosive one.
That's a perfect way to put it, yes. Content means being satisfied and happy with one's current situation. It's a feeling of sufficiency, not necessarily exuberance. It means satisfied and happy with one's current situation. Its synonyms include fulfilled, pleased, and complacent, though complacent can sometimes carry a negative connotation of being too satisfied to try harder. Content itself speaks to a deep sense of peace and acceptance, a feeling that things are just right as they are.
So it's not an extreme joy, but a quiet, steady happiness with what you have, prioritizing inner fulfillment.
You're right. It speaks to a deep sense of peace and acceptance, a feeling that one has enough and is comfortable in their current state.
Consider this. He felt content with his decision to pursue his passion rather than chasing wealth and fame.
Content here beautifully reflects an inner peace derived from making fulfilling life choices. It highlights prioritizing personal values over external markers of success, finding satisfaction within oneself rather than from external validation.
Another example. After a day in the garden, she sat content with a cup of tea.
This describes simple satisfaction and pleasure found in routine, quiet activities. It evokes a sense of calm enjoyment and well-being, finding joy in the small, everyday moments.
And one more. The family was content living in their cozy countryside home.
This emphasizes communal happiness and comfort derived from modest circumstances and a peaceful living environment. It highlights collective well-being and finding joy in simple, shared living.
Moving to a feeling of deep loyalty and affection, we have devoted. This implies a very strong bond.
Indeed. Devoted defines itself by expressing much attention and love towards someone or something, signifying an unwavering commitment. It means expressing much attention and love towards someone or something. Its synonyms like dedicated, loyal, and affectionate all capture this profound bond and steadfast dedication that endures over time and challenges.
So it's about a strong, unwavering commitment and deep affection, whether to a person, an animal, or a cause, often shown through consistent effort.
You're right. It implies a profound bond and a steadfast dedication that endures over time and challenges, demonstrating loyalty in action.
For instance, the dog was devoted to its owner, following them everywhere and eagerly awaiting their return home.
This is the ultimate example of unwavering animal loyalty, isn't it? Devoted here highlights that deep bond which expresses itself in constant attention and faithfulness, truly unconditional love.
Another example. She remained devoted to her volunteer work despite the challenges.
This illustrates commitment driven by passion and altruistic efforts. It demonstrates persistence despite difficulties encountered, showing a deep belief in the cause and a strong sense of purpose.
And finally, his devoted fans traveled miles to attend the concert.
This conveys enthusiastic and unwavering support within fandom contexts. Such dedication leads to significant effort and loyalty to an artist or group, a strong connection that inspires great personal investment.
Now let's really turn up the volume on happiness with ecstatic. This word implies something far beyond just happy.
You're right, ecstatic isn't just happy, it's extremely excited and happy. An overwhelming, almost out-of-body joy. It means extremely excited and happy. Its synonyms, elated, jubilant, and overjoyed, all emphasize this heightened state. It implies an overwhelming flood of positive emotion, often in response to significant good news or a major success.
So this is pure, unadulterated joy. A feeling that bursts forth and cannot be contained, often making you feel like you're floating on air.
That's a good description. It's a powerful and intense emotional high, a profound moment of exhilaration that's hard to suppress.
Take this. The couple was ecstatic upon learning they were expecting their first child.
Ecstatic here perfectly captures overwhelming joy and excitement from profound, life-changing news. It's a moment of intense happiness and anticipation that fundamentally alters one's world.
Another instance, fans were ecstatic after their team won the championship.
This describes collective euphoria in sports victories. Shared success leads to widespread elation and celebration, uniting people in pure, unbridled joy.
And one more. She was ecstatic about her promotion, celebrating with friends all night.
This emphasizes personal achievement-induced happiness. It's a well-deserved recognition leading to joyous celebration, often culminating in sharing that overwhelming joy with loved ones.
And very similar in its intensity, but perhaps with a slightly different flavor, we have thrilled. How does thrilled compare to ecstatic?
That's a good comparison. While both convey intense happiness, thrilled often implies intense excitement or pleasure, specifically in response to something delightful or unexpected. Ecstatic is a more profound, overwhelming state of joy, whereas thrilled is often a more lively, energetic happiness, often with an element of pleasant surprise. It means feeling intense excitement or pleasure. Its synonyms are exhilarated, delighted, and enthusiastic.
So thrilled feels like a high level of excitement, a feeling of delight that comes from something particularly pleasing or a welcome surprise.
Absolutely. It suggests a lively, energetic happiness, often in response to an event or piece of news that brings considerable delight and excitement.
For example, the audience was thrilled by the breathtaking performance of the acrobats at the circus.
Thrilled here conveys excitement derived from spectacular entertainment. The performance genuinely captivates and delights the audience, offering a feast for the senses that leaves them awestruck.
Another instance, he was thrilled to receive an invitation to the exclusive event.
This shows pleasure from social recognition or inclusion. It highlights the positive impact of being chosen or invited to something special, bringing a sense of belonging and excitement.
And finally, children were thrilled with the surprise trip to the amusement park.
This highlights youthful joy and excitement from unexpected pleasures. The element of surprise amplifies the delight and enthusiasm, emphasizing immediate, uninhibited happiness.
Another wonderful positive, we have joyful. This word suggests something that not only feels good, but can also spread happiness.
Joyful means causing great happiness or being full of joy. It's often strongly associated with celebration and connection. It means causing great happiness. Its synonyms, blissful, cheerful, and jubilant, all point to this radiant quality. It can describe both an internal state and something that inspires happiness in others.
So it can be a personal feeling of happiness or a quality that brings happiness to those around you, fostering a sense of collective merriment.
You're right. It has that dual capacity to describe an individual's state and an atmosphere that promotes happiness for others.
Take this. The joyful reunion with her family brought tears to her eyes.
Joyful here emphasizes happiness derived from emotional connections and reunions. It often elicits strong emotional responses like tears of happiness, a heartfelt moment of coming together after a long separation.
Another instance, the festival was filled with joyful music and dancing.
This illustrates communal celebration inducing joy. Shared activities and atmosphere create widespread happiness and a sense of collective merriment, where the joy is palpable and infectious.
And one more. He shared a joyful moment with his team after completing the project.
This describes shared success leading to happiness and camaraderie. It fosters team spirit and mutual satisfaction in a job accomplished, celebrating a job well done together.
And finally, a softer, warmer, positive feeling. Fond. This feels like a gentle, enduring affection.
That's an excellent way to characterize it. Fond means feeling or showing emotional attachment or nostalgia toward a person or thing. It's a gentle, often warm affection. Its synonyms like affectionate, tender, and nostalgic all speak to this tenderness. It suggests an enduring affection, often tinged with the warmth of past experiences.
So it's a tender, often nostalgic affection, a warmth that comes from memory or a sustained connection to something or someone cherished.
You've captured it well. It implies a gentle, enduring affection, often accompanied by pleasant memories and a deep sense of connection.
For example, with a fond smile, he recalled the days spent playing with his loyal childhood dog in the backyard.
Fond evokes warm memories of past attachments. It's often accompanied by a sense of nostalgia for earlier times and cherished companions, a gentle smile indicating the depth of feeling.
Another instance. She was fond of her grandmother's old recipes.
Here, it shows sentimental value and affection towards familial traditions or cherished objects. These items connect to heritage and personal history, carrying deep emotional significance beyond their practical use.
And one more. He grew fond of the quaint town after living there for a year.
This conveys a developing affection over time. It's a gradual appreciation for a place or situation as one becomes familiar and comfortable with it, forming a growing bond with the environment.
What a fantastic journey through the brighter side of emotions. It's remarkable how many shades of positive feelings these C1 words allow us to express. From quiet contentment to overwhelming ecstasy and all the warm affections in between.
Indeed. This array of vocabulary not only enriches our personal expression of joy and connection, but also deepens our understanding of how positive emotions manifest in others. It's about moving beyond simply happy to truly articulate the specific texture of our positive experiences.
Okay, now let's navigate the more challenging side of the emotional spectrum, those expressing disrespect, aggression, or deep frustration. We're starting with contemptuous. This word carries a strong sense of disdain.
Contemptuous means utterly devoid of respect for someone or something. It's a feeling of superiority, looking down on others, often with an air of dismissal. Its synonyms like scornful, disdainful, and derisive all emphasize this profound lack of regard. It implies not just dislike, but a belief that the other person or thing is beneath consideration.
So it really highlights a deep lack of respect, a feeling of superiority that often manifests as dismissiveness and can be quite hurtful.
Absolutely. It's a powerful negative emotion that actively seeks to belittle and undermine others, causing feelings of insignificance.
Take this. Her contemptuous laughter made him feel small and insignificant.
This shows dismissive behavior that actively seeks to belittle and undermine others. The laughter is used to convey a sense of scorn, a powerful put-down that makes the recipient feel small.
Another instance. The critic's contemptuous review dismissed the artist's work as amateurish.
This illustrates disdain and professional judgments. The work is not just criticized, but outright dismissed as inferior, showing a complete lack of regard for the artist's effort and skill.
And finally, he gave a contemptuous glance at the outdated proposal.
Even nonverbal expressions can convey profound disrespect. Here, a simple glance communicates immense scorn and a complete dismissal of an idea without a single word being uttered.
From subtle disrespect, let's move to overt aggression with fierce. This word suggests a powerful, intense force.
You're right. Fierce means having or displaying aggressiveness, an intense and often powerful force. Its synonyms ferocious, intense, and vehement all point to a high degree of intensity and determination, often with an element of combativeness. It's a strong, unmistakable drive.
So this is about a powerful, sometimes aggressive intensity, a strong drive or force that can manifest in various ways.
Definitely. It suggests a high degree of intensity and determination, often with an element of combativeness, whether in a physical or verbal sense.
For example, the team's fierce attitude on the field was evident as they aggressively challenged every play.
Fierce here showcases competitive aggression in sports, a strong, determined approach to winning that pushes them to their limits. It indicates a deep commitment to success and a powerful drive.
Another instance. Her fierce defense of the policy sparked a heated debate.
This illustrates verbal intensity in arguments. A passionate and strong defense can ignite vigorous discussion and challenge opposing viewpoints, showing a resolute stance.
And one more. The animal's fierce growl warned intruders away.
This conveys protective hostility in nature. The growl is a clear warning signal of potential danger, designed to ward off threats and protect territory with an unmistakable message.
And for a more cold, unwelcoming demeanor, we have frozen. This feels like an absence of warmth.
That's a perceptive way to describe it, yes. To be frozen emotionally is about displaying a cold or unwelcoming demeanor. A deliberate lack of warmth. Its synonyms, icy, aloof, and frigid, all imply an intentional emotional detachment. It's presenting an unapproachable front, creating distance.
So it's an absence of warmth. A deliberate coldness that creates emotional distance and can feel very unwelcoming to others.
Absolutely. It's a conscious or subconscious withholding of emotion, creating a barrier and conveying a strong negative message without necessarily being outwardly aggressive.
Take this. The frozen reaction from the audience suggested they were unimpressed by the performance.
Frozen here describes emotional coldness in responses. It indicates a lack of engagement or approval from an audience, leaving no doubt about their sentiment and disappointment.
Another instance. His frozen smile hid his true feelings during the awkward encounter.
This shows forced detachment in social situations. A superficial expression conceals underlying true feelings, creating an air of artificiality and masking discomfort or displeasure.
And finally, she gave him a frozen stare when he arrived late.
This emphasizes nonverbal, unwelcoming signals. A simple, cold stare communicates disapproval or displeasure through eye contact alone, speaking volumes without words.
From coldness, let's move to the very common experience of frustrated. This is a feeling many of us know well.
Indeed. Frustrated describes feeling upset or annoyed due to being unable to do or achieve something. It's the friction between desire and reality, the feeling of hitting a wall. It means feeling upset or annoyed due to being unable to do or achieve something. Its synonyms irritated, exasperated, and thwarted all highlight this sense of blockage. It's the emotional response to obstacles or perceived failures, often leading to a sense of powerlessness.
Oh, frustrated trying to assemble furniture. That's a universal experience. I remember one weekend, a simple flat-pack wardrobe turned into a 4-hour battle. I ended up feeling so frustrated, I almost threw the instruction manual out the window. What is it about those moments where something should be simple that just drives us wild?
That's a perfect example. It's that friction between expectation and reality, isn't it? When a task should be straightforward, but unforeseen obstacles like unclear instructions or missing parts turn it into a relentless challenge. It's distinct from, say, agitated, which might be a more generalized, restless nervousness. Frustration is very much directed at a specific impediment to a goal, a very relatable feeling of being thwarted.
For instance, they grew increasingly frustrated with the repeated delays.
Frustrated here captures building annoyance from obstacles. A repeated impediment leads to increasing irritation and a sense of being stuck, building that emotional pressure.
Another example, the artist felt frustrated by the lack of inspiration.
This shows creative blocks leading to emotional upset. The inability to generate ideas causes distress and a sense of being creatively stuck, a stifled flow that prevents progress.
What a robust look at emotions that challenge us, from overt disdain to icy detachment and the common annoyance of frustration. These words help us articulate the more difficult aspects of human interaction and personal struggle.
They absolutely do. Understanding these terms not only enables us to express our own discomfort or anger with greater precision, but also helps us to interpret these challenging emotions when we encounter them in others, offering a clearer lens on difficult interpersonal dynamics.
Okay, now let's explore a very useful phrase for navigating difficult emotions, particularly when we have to come to terms with something unpleasant. To come to terms with something.
This phrase is incredibly insightful because it means to gradually learn to accept or deal with something unpleasant. It truly speaks to a process of emotional processing, not an instant switch. Its synonyms, reconcile oneself to, accept, and cope with, highlight the journey involved. It often highlights the gradual nature of emotional healing and adjustment to challenging realities.
So it's about a journey of acceptance, a slow but necessary process of internalizing a difficult truth or reality over time. It's about adapting.
That's right. It underscores that acceptance isn't always immediate. It's frequently a path involving struggle, reflection, and ultimately integration of a difficult experience.
For example, Mary needed to come to terms with her past mistakes in order to move forward and build a better future.
This phrase illustrates emotional processing necessary for personal growth. It highlights acknowledging past errors to move forward without being held back by them, an essential step in self-improvement.
Another instance, he struggled to come to terms with the loss of his job.
This shows the difficulty of adjusting to professional setbacks. It emphasizes the struggle involved in acceptance and finding a new path, a difficult transition that demands emotional resilience.
And finally, the family came to terms with the diagnosis over time.
This expression conveys the gradual acceptance experienced by families during health crises. It highlights the significant time it takes to process difficult news and adapt to a new and challenging reality.
And sometimes when formal words or phrases fall short, or we just need to add extra punch to our annoyance or anger in an informal setting, we lean on informal intensifiers. Let's look at a few, starting with goddamn, bloody, and bananas. What's their function and how do they differ?
These informal intensifiers are fascinating because they allow us to convey extreme emotional states with a raw, immediate impact, even if they aren't always polite. Goddamn is primarily used to show annoyance or anger, often with a sense of exasperation. Bloody is a particularly British informal intensifier, also used for annoyance or anger, but it can carry a slightly more offensive edge depending on context and audience. Bananas, on the other hand, is wonderfully versatile, describing a state of extreme anger, excitement, or general craziness. It's about losing control or behaving wildly. Their synonyms vary from damned, cursed, blasted for the first two, to insane, mad, and bonkers for bananas.
So these are informal ways to really emphasize strong feelings, adding an emotional exclamation point, so to speak, even if they are a bit rough around the edges or culturally specific.
You've got it. They provide a quick, forceful way to express an intense emotional state, often bypassing more polite or formal constructions for immediate impact.
We'll see them in action. Goddamn.
He slammed the goddamn door shut after an argument with his roommate.
Goddamn here powerfully amplifies frustration in a heated moment. It adds emphasis to an action driven by anger and resentment, making the emotional intensity palpable.
For bloody, get out of my bloody way.
This demonstrates bloody intensifying a command. It conveys strong impatience or frustration in a direct and somewhat aggressive manner, a very common usage in British English.
For bananas. You're driving me bananas with all those questions.
Bananas here describes escalating irritation from persistent behavior. It shows reaching a point of extreme annoyance and exasperation, a feeling of being overwhelmed and pushed to your limits.
How about this for goddamn? Fix this goddamn computer before I lose my patience.
This usage expresses irritation with malfunctioning objects. It's a clear demand for immediate action fueled by mounting annoyance, emphasizing the urgency and exasperation.
For bloody. This bloody weather is ruining our plans.
Here, bloody shows frustration with uncontrollable elements, such as weather, which are disrupting plans and causing annoyance. It's a common, relatable complaint.
And for bananas. The crowd went bananas when the band started playing.
This conveys wild excitement and uncontrolled enthusiasm in entertainment settings. It's a moment of pure energy and collective elation, where the crowd's excitement is almost palpable.
Finally, for goddamn.
There grew.
She muttered about the goddamn traffic jam in the roads.
This illustrates casual anger or frustration in everyday annoyances. It's often used in muttered complaints to express minor irritations. A very relatable experience for many commuters.
And for bloody. He complained about the bloody bureaucracy delaying everything.
This term expresses annoyance with systemic inefficiencies. It highlights frustration with perceived obstacles and slow procedures, a feeling of being bogged down by complex rules.
And for bananas. The situation at work is absolutely bananas right now.
This use of bananas highlights chaotic craziness and disorder in professional environments. It suggests a lack of control and a general sense of mayhem, a feeling that things are completely out of hand.
That segment really showcased how expressive our language can be, even with these informal intensifiers. It reminds us that there's a linguistic tool for every shade of emotion, from the deeply profound to the wildly exasperated.
Indeed. Mastering these expressions, including the informal ones, offers C1 learners a richer and more authentic voice. It allows for a more complete and nuanced portrayal of their emotional landscape, understanding not just the meaning, but the social and cultural weight carried by such words.
Okay, let's conclude our vocabulary deep dive with a truly powerful and often unifying emotion. Compassion.
Yeah.
This word feels like it holds so much positive potential.
You're absolutely right. Compassion isn't just sympathy. It's great sympathy for a person or animal that is suffering, often accompanied by a powerful desire to alleviate that suffering. It's empathy in action, meaning great sympathy for a person or animal that is suffering. Its synonyms, empathy, pity, and kindness all relate, but compassion uniquely emphasizes the active desire to help. It's about feeling a shared humanity and being moved to positive action.
So it's a deep emotional connection to suffering, combined with an active desire to help. It's truly more than just feeling sorry for someone. It's about making a difference.
You've made a crucial distinction. It embodies a profound sense of shared humanity that actively drives individuals to alleviate the pain and hardship of others. It's a powerful force for good.
For example, his compassion for the homeless inspired him to start a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing shelter and resources.
Compassion here drives altruistic actions towards the vulnerable. It inspires concrete efforts to help those in need, transforming feeling into tangible impact and making a real difference in people's lives.
Another instance, the nurse showed compassion to the grieving family.
This describes professional empathy and kindness demonstrated in healthcare. It's a vital human connection that offers comfort during difficult times, providing emotional support beyond medical care.
And finally, acts of compassion can heal communities after tragedies.
The word emphasizes restorative emotional support. It highlights how collective acts of kindness can aid healing after profound loss and trauma. demonstrating the unifying and recovery-promoting power of compassion.
Wow, what an incredible, emotionally resonant journey we've just taken through the landscape of human feeling, from being completely absorbed in a task to feeling utterly ecstatic with joy, or perhaps wrestling to come to terms with a difficult situation. These C1 level words truly empower us to express ourselves with astonishing depth and precision.
If we consider the broader implications, the ability to articulate these nuanced feelings isn't merely an academic exercise, is it? It sharpens our understanding of ourselves, helps us connect more genuinely with others, and allows us to interpret the world around us with far greater insight. It's about truly inhabiting our emotional language, allowing it to reflect the full complexity of our inner lives.
So, what does this all mean for you, our dedicated listener? My provocative thought for you today is this. How might mastering even just a few of these precise terms fundamentally change the way you understand your own reactions? Or even how you respond to the feelings of those around you? Imagine the clarity that comes from being able to say, I'm feeling quite apprehensive about that meeting, instead of simply, I'm a bit nervous. And the profound understanding that such a subtle linguistic shift brings to both yourself and your interlocutors.
Indeed. Consider how a richer emotional vocabulary can not only enhance your communication, but also deepen your emotional intelligence and empathy. The words we choose truly shape our perception of reality and the quality of our interactions. They offer us a more nuanced map of the human heart.
What a powerful idea to leave us with. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it's provided you with some fantastic new tools for expressing the rich tapestry of human feelings. If you enjoyed this deep dive and found it valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to the Learn English Lab YouTube channel for more insightful explorations.